Housing in Nigeria remains one of the biggest challenges for everyday people. Prices keep rising, mortgages feel out of reach. Well, the government decided to respond with a structure that promises to change how Nigerians access homes. The Ministry of Finance incorporated Real Estate Investment Fund. But what does it really mean? How does it work? And will it genuinely make housing more affordable? Or is it another complicated policy Nigerians have to decode? Welcome to Untangle. I am Blessing Dagin. Well, today on Untangle, we're breaking down clearly and simply the Ministry of Finance incorporated Real Estate Investment Fund. And joining me is someone deeply involved in Nigeria's real estate and proptech space, Shafere Oghenetega Samuel, CEO of Bid and Buy and leader of the Smart Associates Network. It's a very big pleasure to have you join us today.
Thank you very much. It's also an amazing pleasure. It's good to have you here too as well.
All right, thank you so much. So we're talking about the Ministry of Finance Incorporated Real Estate Investment Fund. Now, for someone hearing about this the first time, it sounds like, okay, what is this? So let's break it from the very beginning. What is this all about? Why was it incorporated and what does it aim to achieve?
Okay, it's quite an interesting program, and the reason why this is essential at this time is because there are a lot of fragmented issues around real estate.
Okay.
Obviously, everybody knows it's a capital intensive market that has a lot of promises, but players are over time reducing.
Okay.
So if you are following trend, you realize that when our parents started getting into real estate, for most of them, they're using it as a means of retirement.
Okay.
So you want to go into retirement, you're thinking of how can I build residential properties, maybe a few plazas, and that can take care of the rest of my life as the best of my life. So more like a lot of them who don't have too knowledgeable experience with businesses see that as an escape route for their retirement. But as we're growing, as life becomes quite interesting, a lot of people started diversing. A lot of people started going into real estate as a means to create not just money, but sustainable income. But of course, it comes with a lot of challenges, which is the bulk funds that needs to go into the project and the cost of every other thing that surrounds it. But here is the problem now. These guys who are started coming in as players, right? They're coming in as players not with longevity. So there are not two set of people in this space.
Okay.
Some who want to flip their income and some who are thinking of maybe long-term investment, things like what can my children inherit? So that ideology started affecting the fewer numbers of persons who are now players in the industry. So people are ready to just flip their income, buy a piece of land, develop it, sell outrightly. So it becomes a good business. So everybody now decide to start thinking of how to flip income over building sustainable residential properties for people to take up. Then we started having issues with, in those days, like if you're following Nigerian movies, it's a thing for people to leave the village, go over to the city to live a better life. But as we started growing into this modernization, we realized that people who are leaving the village, coming to the city for a better life, start going back to the village to live just to get a better life at the city. So it is more like you're moving forward and backward at the same time and expecting to make progress. That cannot work. So what is the problem? Why are people moving from the villages to the city and eventually going back to stay at the villages just to work in the city?
Okay.
What's the problem? Housing. So it is growing at an exponential order that people can no longer pinpoint what is the issue. I think there's a lot of figures that are counting to housing deficit that has risen to about 33 million housing deficits in Nigeria. The numbers keep skyrocketing. But do you know that if you walk around most cities, likes of Port Harcourt, Lagos, Abuja, you realize that there are some empty estates. No individuals are living in it. There are a lot of properties well developed, all right? Fully developed, but just empty. So what is the problem? So the problem now, government decided to sit back and say, oh no, this cannot go in this direction. How can we come in here and become not just a player, but a big player that control both the funds and those people who are available to access the funds and the people who are able to now develop sustainable properties for people who are accessing these funds to purchase this property. So it is now a large scale project. It is one project that I can tell you that if it's been done successfully, we change the entire dynamics around real estate in Nigeria. The entire dynamics, from both developers to people who can access this mortgage, to people who can then create a lively means, and make it an open playing field for both private and public sectors to also access the same funds, so that a lot of Nigerians will not be marginalized because of their current status in the society.
Interesting. Okay, so obviously it is for Nigerians, right?
Yes,
by the government.
By the government.
So
yes.
what does it entail? Now, this real estate investment funds, how do Nigerians who are probably not developers, like everyday Nigerians, how do they get on board to maybe be partakers of this fund made available? And then how big is this fund we're talking about?
Funny big. I think we are citing close to about fund will be rolling in trillions naira, and it's something that would open both international fundings and partners and big institutions to contribute to that pool. But government wants to lead the way by ensuring that it provides security for people to see it as a good investment environment for any of these guys who are coming to join that pool of resources, who are either thinking long term. So the thing here is for an average Nigerian who would want to know about these things, there are two basic things you need to do. First, I always tell people that learning precedes earning, right?
Yeah.
So in as much as this is exciting, this is an opportunity, but first take a seat and understand what this is about. The understanding of what this is will give you the exact route on how to access this fund and how you can also how you can also be part of the solution to this problem. Because government cannot do it by itself. Just in as much as government is providing the funds, we still have our own part to play. For example, if this fund comes available, and we have people who are taking these funds and they are not paying back, because from what we got is the fact that the mortgage plan would run between 10 to 25 years repayment plan at a very low interest rate. I think somewhere around 9.75% per annum to somewhere around 11 to 12%, for long time. So you can imagine with this ridiculous amount of charges that are there, a lot of people will be interested. But are you sincerely ready to take off that kind of opportunity? Because if you're defaulting on your own end, it discourages the people who would want to be players. So all of these things would fall, I said, it's an ecosystem. So all of these things would still fall back to individuals. Like that, as I said, education is a pivotal for this area. You need to get educated, understand how you can access this fund, and place yourself in a situation where, if you're accessing this fund, do you have a sustainable income to pay back this fund over the period of time you would want to do this, so that you don't put yourself in a case of, had I know, there are 29 billion people ready to access this 10 billion. All right. So the thing is, who are those people who are qualified to access it?
I think that's the next question. And because we are trying to break this down, it's important we, state categorically the people that are able to have access to it, and then probably how can people get on board?
Okay. This is government. And like I said, government alone cannot do it all. So there are institutions, there are partners, there are people who are providing these services, as well as collaboration with the government. So the government provides the governance, the disciplinary measures, the access, and control the dynamics around this whole thing for transparency and all that. But on an individual, you need a minimum down payment. I think it's about 10%. I think so. Minimum down payment of about 10% before you can spread your balance. But the thing here is how many persons can access that same 10%. All right. So if we want to look at things like credit score, now that is a very major aspect for a lot of Nigerians. Sometimes we don't care about it. We tell ourselves what they go do. For example, those guys who go around collecting loan from those loan sharks, Pampe and the rest of them. Sometimes these guys tell you to pay and you don't pay. You run away with their money. They keep calling you, telling them, what can you do? Post my picture anywhere. Nothing will happen. You understand? You see those little things? They add up to, because there will definitely be a day where you will not be this broke. You will be eligible. You will be that funded, and maybe you don't have a good credit score, or you've not been able to update your credit score. Right? And you realize that you will not be able to access all of this funding. I had a case of a guy who wanted to access, we're providing financing for properties and rent financing for tenants. And this guy came and applied for it, and we found out that this guy is well to do, but when we checked his record, he's owing 44 loan companies. I mean, imagine a single individual who is owing 44 loan companies.
Interesting.
So all of these things are areas that we need to look at, that we can decide to start asking ourselves, on your own part, have you been able to do justice to ensure that you can access these funds? Because these funds are available. It's available, government have made it accessible, but you on your own end, are you qualified for it by ensuring that you have a good credit score, you have a good clean record of employment or sustainable income that you can use to finance this project over a long period of time, and you have the required backing, the knowledge of how these things work. With all of this, it's open to not just civil servants, because the private sectors that are coming to be players will be able to open access for with mortgage integrators. All right. So as for an average Nigerians, of course, we know let me not exaggerate, over 70% of Nigerians don't have a single source of income. You see a medical doctor who is a Uber driver at night. Right? So people are supplementing their income. So you see a lot of people who are doing a lot of things, but because they are doing a lot of things, they don't have basic income. And when you don't have a basic income, it becomes difficult to plan your life with what is sure. And when you can't plan your life with what is sure, you just work with assumption. That's the reason why you see people who rent properties that are way above their basic income. But because there is this hope, I know we Nigerians, we love faith. I just believe that there's this project that is coming. If I sell that land, if I run this business, what is 3 million? What is 10 million? I will pay my rent, or I will buy this property. I will pay off this loan. For your basic income, the thing that is sure for you that every month it comes to you is probably 100,000. But guess what? We don't look at that. So what we now start looking at is the happenstance, the futuristic, the one kind of wonder kind of deal, where we just believe that if he comes, we'll just clear off this thing. And it does not happen that way. It doesn't come that way. So because of that, a lot of people start defaulting, and that mentality starts affecting the pool and the access to such kind of program like this, and it becomes less fruitful over a long period of time. We've seen situations where organizations with pure intentions to help Nigerians and help individuals access stuff like this, end up folding up because we have people on this other end who are able to fulfill their own part of the bargain.
All right, thank you so much. Now we'll take a very quick break. We'll be right back.
All right, thank you.
All right, now let's go on a very short break. When we come back, we'll untangle better the Ministry of Finance Incorporated Real Estate Investment Forum. Please stay with us.
Everybody has a stake in making the world a better place with love and compassion. As we thrive daily, we continue to strive to face the many challenges that faces our Earth because together, we all matter. On one side, we are exploring the captivating stories, the trends, the glamour, while on the other hand, we're looking at the love, the care and compassion from our champions. In our Stars Quiet Cove lies the burning passion for humanity, which is seldom known and unsung to the world. Join me on Famed to look at the flip side of your favorite beyond the regular.
All right, thank you for staying tuned. We are still right here on Untangle, right here on Hued Network, and we are talking about the Ministry of Finance Incorporated Real Estate Investment Fund. All right, so before we went on the break, we've been able to talk about, the fact that this is accessible and you need a very good credit score to be able to access it. But then maybe a Nigerian who is interested, maybe asking the questions of, how can I access this? Yes, the government has abundantly made it clear that this is available. But then, how can I access it? When I have a good credit score, how can I access it? Where do I need to go to? And then, basically, how will it run? The repayment plan, is there a specific period of time? You mentioned probably years. But then, to put all of that information together so someone is able to put his hands on it and run with it.
Okay, so yeah, when it comes to assessing this, if you know any mortgage integrator, mortgage bank, commercial banks, the like of, I think, Stanbic IBTC, GT Bank, First Bank, UBA, couple of them. If you walk into this bank and you ask them for this, there are a couple of documents they will give to you to fill, and they require you to provide things like your NIM, verification statements, and application for your interest for this. And there are a couple of these things form they will give to you, and you'll be able to have direct access to the agency that is in charge of this. Then it's purely is a pure access gateway. You don't need agent.
Okay, that's actually very important because when you start talking of houses, real estate in Nigeria, agents are always
Somebody
there.
call them agent of darkness. You don't need agent. And the funniest thing is, like I said, that's why I said we are in an environment or in an era where information is accessible. That's why earlier I talked about access. Is accessible. The easiest thing you can get today in this era before money is information. So access. So once you're able to access these things, ask the right questions. Go to these places. Ask them. I want to access this. How can I access it? See, they say in Pidgin English, who they ask for road, not they ever go lost. So you ask, all right? And yeah, I know it takes a whole lot for people to begin to learn how to ask, all right? So walk into any of these institutions, ask them that you heard of this program and you are interested in it. You want to be able to be part of it. You want to access this because you feel you're credible enough or you have the opportunity, especially for regions that are not highbrow areas. You want to access it because that's where government is really, really looking at investing these funds towards, all right? Because the funds will run from both Series 1, Series 2, Series etc. like that. So the first series is the fact that government want to push it and make it very attractive enough for people to able to access this thing so that it can attract institutional players, all right? Attract big investors, attract both international AIF, yes, so that these guys can come in here as well as invest, because the goal is a fixed payment return, I think 9.75% per annum. That fixed, so you can then spread it over for long term to about 11 to 12%. So it makes it a bit easier for people to cope with. So when you break this 9%, 11, 12% into monthly, you realize that if you're somebody who you are prudent with your spending, is something you might want to take, and taking that from your basic income would not affect your life significantly over a long sustainable period of time.
Okay, so there's this question that's been brewing in my mind. Not a lot of people understand how a mortgage system works.
Yeah.
And then not a lot of people know, okay, when you talk about a mortgage system, okay, I pay money, I am able to pay within a period of time. Am I getting a land? Am I getting a house? If you could just break that down for us so we have a proper understanding by mortgage plan, how does it work? And am I getting a land or am I getting a house? Can I be living inside the house while I'm paying?
That in fact, you're almost saying. So the ideology behind mortgaging, we have not fully grown to the maturity of it in this side of the world. Okay. Right? In the other aspect of the world, the Western area, we see people live their entire life on mortgaging. Their entire life. You see people, I think I heard of a story of a guy who traveled out 3 years ago and he bought a property and, posted it online. People were celebrating him. Right? But when I went, I looked, I knew it was mortgage. Right? So here is different. We do catch and carry. Like I pay, if I don't pay, we started hearing this like flexible payment option where people, but if it's still short term, it cannot be compared to what mortgage is offering.
What is mortgage offering?
So what mortgage is offering? Mortgage is offering the ability to own something, be part of it. I don't want to go there. I don't want to get it. It's something that okay. So it gives you the ability to have the right to own something.
Okay.
While you're there, you have the option. So you have the right to then own it over a sustainable period of time without doing anything different. So it is more like saying, I need a phone. Okay. And I have money that if I put it over a long period of time, it's going to be this amount, but I don't have it presently with me.
Okay.
So is it possible to have it now, or I pay with what I'm estimated to receive over a long period of time? So the answer is yes. Give us a down payment. You're here. We'll profile you, because it is not. And the reason why I don't think why a lot of us are still struggling with it is because of what I said. Most Nigerians don't have basic income. We only have happenstance. We have wishful income. We don't depend our life with what's coming every now and then. A lot of Nigerians are entrepreneurs. We are enterprising so well that if you're earning a 400,000, you have one side gig that is paying you 2 million. So your 400,000 like a 4 money. So you're planning your life with your side gig, not knowing that your side gig might just go off one day, and your basic income cannot sustain your the lifestyle your side gig has given to you. So it becomes a problem. So all of these areas is where these guys, these mortgage banks, there are a lot of them, and I'm quite excited at the vast creation and awareness these guys are coming in partnership, in playing, in educating the society about how they can access mortgaging. Right? Today has been, unlike in those days, when you hear of mortgage, it sounds like a debt, but these days it's quite less clearer as people begin to access it, especially with this funding that government is providing for real estate players. So if well planned, right, we will begin to see mortgage will become a part of the human Nigerian lifestyle, where we don't have to always think of ownership outrightly. Right?
Okay.
We don't think of ownership outrightly. We'll not be thinking of bulk cash. We'll not be thinking of flexible payment for a short period of time. We'll be thinking of, okay, I can be here. Things like rent to own, becomes a thing for people to, those are the things that mortgage are actually providing. Then you have things like, cooperatives that would want to have people in their unit access funds to acquire property. We can then have people who are thinking of, institutions, like we already know there are institutions who already started thinking of housing plans for their staffs, all of these things through those mortgage partnerships, allowing them to access this funding over a long period of time with the fact that they are well profiled with the income they have as basic. So we have to ensure that people will have less high blood pressure, less stroke, and the likes.
Okay, so quickly as we round up, now this is a real estate investment fund. So what makes it real estate? And I'd like you to, break it down for us. Can't I just have a house, maybe a standalone, somewhere in my name? Does it have to be in an estate? Some of these confusing questions. By real estate, how does it work?
Okay, so I think I'm trying to put your thoughts together to a point where it will make sense. All right, so real estate, don't use the word estate for it.
Okay. Well, that's why you are the pro.
so when we talk about real estate, we're talking about the entire industry that facilitates housing.
Okay.
All right, so it comes with a lot of things. It comes with both management, it comes with both acquisition, comes with land bank, it comes with the whole, it's a huge industry. All right, so when government is saying we want to do this, it goes beyond just providing access for these people. It starts from the top, which is providing access to the people who develop this property.
Oh, okay.
Right, so ensuring that they develop something that is of standard, that meets the requirement of the agency, so that the property don't become too expensive for these people to access these funds at a lower rate. Do you know what that will do? It will control drastically the raw material market.
Okay.
Because everybody now know the kind of properties they should develop. And honestly speaking, one of the thriving challenges that we have seen affecting most of the players today, especially developers, is the fact that they are not working with data. And I can tell you, today, data is the new prophet of the 21st century. In those days where prophet will tell you, you ate fried yam, corn, and you'll be like, that is exactly what data is doing for us today. So a lot of, in those days, people just wake up and believe that people are looking for 3-bedroom terraces in this location. And of course, we have this institution here, this institution here. So because of this institution, people will be able to afford this kind of property. So you develop. By then finish developing, you realize that the people who are living there don't have the capacity to acquire or access or get that kind of property. Maybe they're looking for a 1 unit, or they're looking for 3 units. You see that? So data is missing. So where the whole thing makes sense for real estate, right? And for you as an individual who want to access this fund, is realizing that you have access to this data to understand that, oh, fine, if government is saying we want to plant this number of units in this certain region, in this state, in these cities, in this, you will know per time what government is saying. It helps you to further prepare your development plan for that area. You will not say terraces is selling more in Guzapi, and federal government is saying, no, we're looking for low-cost housing units that wants people to take these properties for less than 10%, which is 9.75%. For you, you're looking at flipping income. Probably you're saying if you can access some basic funding from government, which is offtake, and another part of it, usually there's this down payment a lot of people would provide before they can access the funding. But if you realize that some persons don't have this funding and they go borrow. So now borrowing that 10% to access that large pool of funds, you will not put part of this cost into your borrow cost into the funds you're providing to ensure that you make maximum return on top. So you see developers just messing up things because they don't have real data.
Interesting.
Yes.
Thank you so much. I think I'm considering it now. I may want to, think about a mortgage plan and then
It's
get
an amazing
myself.
plan. Yes.
All right. Thank you so much. But then, finally, before we round up, in summary, what would you say in maybe 30 seconds to an average Nigeria thinking about accessing this fund?
Yeah. So I would encourage anybody who is watching this, to first open your mind. The mind is like a parachute; it only works when it's open. There are a lot of mystic things about, whenever government is doing something, it's only for high-brow people, it's not accessible to a common man, they know themselves, those kind of things. Once you start building your mindset towards that, first, you're out of that league. You would not. So first, take that thought away from your mind. Walk into any registered integrator with government for this funding. Go there, ask the right question. You will see that it is as easy as anything for you to access it. So open your mind, walk into one of these places. I know there are a lot of people who feel government things are always but it's not. I tell you, these institutions in place and the partners that are involved in it, they're very transparent, and you can always see that from the criteria stated for anybody, whether you're a developer, you want to be in the value chain of providing access, more funding to this project, or you want to be a taker to access this fund. It's a very transparent process.
All right. Thank you so very much. It's been a pleasure. Thank you for untangling this.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's my pleasure as well.
All right. There you have it. An opportunity to own a property the right way using the Ministry of Finance Incorporated Real Estate Investment Fund. Do your own due diligence. Go check about it, read about it, and see if this is an opportunity you would like to take. As always, my name is Blessing Dagin. Do have a nice day.